Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the player ratings. Everton 0, Spurs 0. Obviously a very close game, very much a 0-0 game at Goodison Park today, but a bit more of a reaction. Good to see that. Good to see Everton players just giving their all, which seems a bit of an unnatural thing sometimes. Good to see Goodison Park fighting once again, bit nasty, bit angry at the right people, the referees and the opposition. That is the Goodison Park I know and love. Forget about anything else. That is what it's all about. If you're an Evertonian, if you're someone who's been on the Gladys Sea for a while, you'll know what I mean. It is hospitable, and it's lovely to be like that when it's yeah. There you go. I wasn't at the game today, as I mentioned. I've got COVID, so I couldn't be there. I'm not allowed to be there. I'm not allowed to leave my house. So yeah, listen. I think this showed the levels of the squad and the levels of the team. And if everyone fights and everyone does the job, you can you can get up to a higher level in this Premier League. You just need to be fighting and everyone fighting for the shirt. And I think that's what has elevated other teams. That's why probably West Ham are where they are, just having a slightly bit more consistency with the squad and the players, and all the players fight for the shirt. So it was a good response today, and we have to have that level of performance. Let's get into it. It's going to be interesting, and what's funny is I'm going to shine a light on a couple of players today, which until I looked at the numbers then, very interesting. Let's start off with Jordan Pickford. Very quiet game. They didn't have a shot on target. They hit the post, which sadly I didn't see the replay, so I don't know if he got anything on it. I don't think they would have, although I'm sure if it was Aaron Ramsdale, they would have showed it about 12 times just to see if he'd got a finger on it. But he was fine, and his kicking was good, and he did his job. Simple as that. So I've given 7. Seamus Coleman. I think Seamus Coleman showed us the tenacity of the player today. Okay, maybe not the ability of the right back that we are so craving for to change the dynamic of this team. But just in terms of effort. And again, this comes down to we don't have the players, so the players who play in the positions have to do everything. They just have to do everything to show the fighting for the shirt. And if you put the effort in, and it's sometimes this is something that's like people go, oh, you need more than effort, and that's the minimum. But what I mean is that you've got to work hard in Premier League games to get anything, and you've got to work harder than the person that's facing you. And I think Seamus Coleman did that. I think a lot of our players did, because I think when your team's not as good, maybe 1-for-1 as the opposition, you have to work harder. And I know it's the old thing of like everyone should put 100% in and all that kind of thing, but you've got to win your battles. You just have to win your battles in Premier League football, in any football. Win your battles. And this is why football is the game it is. This is why when Burnley go to Chelsea and get a draw, this is why football is the way it is. It's because some days people turn up and they give more than others, and it elevates them to be a better player. Because without effort, you've just got nothing. You've got absolutely nothing. And I thought Seamus Coleman was one of many today who did that, who won their personal battle, and did enough. And of course, I think we need a new right back, but Seamus Coleman done that today, so I've given him a 7. On the other side, I think Luca Dean was exactly the same. I think I don't think there was anything amazing from him today. He just worked hard and did his job, and defended well. Attacking wise, maybe it's still not there, but I think he just did what he had to do, and as I said, I think he won his battle. So I've given him a 7 today. Michael Keane, 7.5. I thought the game suited him, and I thought he thought he grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck when he needed to, and just low, especially in the first half. They were playing on like the counter attack, and he just loads of little times he just got his foot in and just stopped them breaking. Won a few aerial duels. One in the first half, clever little free kick round the back, and if he just gets the right angle, he puts that across goal. And I thought he was fine today. I think, was he up against much? I don't know. Harry Kane's not. I don't know. They don't seem to play to him, and his little bit of magic's gone. But I think out of our defenders, he was probably our best defender today, and led by example. So fair play. And as I said in the first half, certainly just little things. I think what you'd say about the whole defence. My son Michael Keane's a 7.5. I've given Ben Godfrey a 7 as well. I thought he was on it today, and he was lovely to see him kicking shite out of Son at any opportunity, which is lovely, to be honest, because he's a rat. But it was lovely to see that from him today. But what I'd say at the back four is they were all switched on today. You could see the concentration levels. Don't do anything stupid. Don't give the ball away. Don't give it away needlessly. Just do your job and stick to what you've been told. And the people in front of you will try and protect you. And you go from there. So I thought the whole defence just worked hard today and stuck to the task that they were and Kane and Son hardly had a kick against them all day. They really didn't. So fair play to them. I think they got in the faces in the first half, and that sort of, again, when you talk about putting a shift in, you look at Harry Kane and Son today, they didn't put a shift in. They're supposed to be world-class players, and that's what the same when we say putting in 100% as the bare minimum. That's what elevates players. That's what makes Son and Kane look like absolute average players today, because they didn't put a shift in, and that's where average players gravitate themselves to the same level. Of course, you are waiting for a player like Harry Kane or Son to just do that one thing, that one piece of magic. But yeah. So fair play to them. Into midfield, this is interesting because Alan and Fabian Delph. I've just been looking at the stats, and I know stats aren't everything. But basically on the stats, Alan had a better game than Fabian Delph. Marginal, but in terms of like tackles won and things like that, he had a better game than Fabian Delph. Now he might have had a better game because Fabian Delph was in there. But I did think that was quite interesting. I wasn't expecting that. If you go to, there's a website called SofaScore, and they do all the stats and everything, and Alan's numbers are better, and they have a player ratings thing, which I always have a little look at just to see what they've put the players down, and they've give Alan a slightly higher score. They go on like marginals of 0.1, so like 7.6 and 7.5 and things like that. I can't be arsed getting into that. Be dead hard for the guy who puts all our stats together for me. Wouldn't be fair on Mark, but the numbers do say that Alan actually had a better game. So I thought that was quite interesting. But so sometimes your eyes don't quite see, but Alan going off certainly made a big difference to us. And he had a really solid game. You could see the intensity in his first half. There was one that he wins the ball and the lad falls over the ball, doesn't he? And the referee gives a free kick and he's going mad. And you can see that when he's got people in there in the midfield with him, and his position's a bit higher because Delph was sat a little bit deeper, he loves it. He absolutely loves it, and he will fight for that. You absolutely fight. I thought he had a good game today. I've given him a 7.5. I've given Fabian Delph a 7.5 as well, because honestly, I think Delph picks the ball up deeper, and I think, as someone's just said in our comments, he knits the team together, and I think he did knit the team together. Like very much when Decore's driving forward, he does it from a deeper position. So I've given them both 7.5. I thought they were both dominated that midfield today, and it was evident, late on when they'd both gone off, and you can understand why. He took Fabian Delph off to protect them. And Tom Davis really coming on should be able to carry that on, and did for the most part. He did for the most part and got forward a little bit. It was just an interesting midfield three today, and I thought, as I said, when we've got three in there, I think it really does make a difference. And when you've got some, so I thought they both played slightly differently, but both of them 7.5 today. Townsend, who played in like slightly higher up a little bit, like Alan did today, I've given him a 7, probably in there for a little bit more creativity, but to keep the shape and work hard and to make it a 3. He did work hard and he bought us a lot of fouls. It's not probably where he wants to be playing, but listen, he's played a lot of games and he's I suppose he's supposed to be that player in there who's supposed to give us that little bit more of an attacking threat, and he didn't really do that because that midfield did. This is why I was saying it earlier in my video. This is where, if you're going to play 3 in the midfield, your fullbacks are so important. The fullbacks are so important to the way you play when you have 3 in midfield. You've got to have fullbacks that fly forward. 3 in the midfield is great, and they will work hard, and they will try and protect that back 4, as much as they can. But you've got to have the fullbacks working, getting as high as they can, so that the 2, which would have been Anthony Gordon and Damari Gray, can start tucking in and joining. That's where they're obviously both playing at the moment, Liverpool and West Ham. That's where they get a lot of joy. They have 3 solid players in midfield, and then they have fullbacks who fly forward, support the striker by allowing the 2 other midfielders, the attacking midfielders, to push on. We just don't have those flying fullbacks, and that sort of stops that creativity. But you've got to start from a base of somewhere, and that 3 midfield did their job today really well, and they made us more solid. And I genuinely believe that, if we'd gone to 3 midfield, the minute we'd gone 2-1 against Watford, we comfortably win that game. And I think if we'd started the game on Monday night with 3 midfield, like today, we get something out of that game. I just don't think we can be as open playing 2 without Decore. Decore is a bit of he's a freak player, because he's like 2 players in one. He allows you to have that extra man, and that's what we've been missing in the last few games. And that's why you have to have that extra man. Listen, like people like Iwobi, they're never going to be that extra man. But I did think Townsend done a good job in there today. Anthony Gordon, little moments of positivity. One in the second half, ball dropped on the edge of the area, and it was like one of those, you're seeing your name in the headlines, aren't you? Just to smash it in, but little moments, but I'm not saying it not enough, because I think he's developing. You want to see him get on the ball more and run at people and commit people. That's what I'd like to see from him, not just throwing the ball into the box. I'd like to see him start taking people on and committing them and running into the box. I haven't seen a lot of that yet. So I think there's definitely more to come from us. So I've given him a 6.5, and I've given Damari Gray 6.5 as well. And people might think I'm being a little bit negative on that point, but let's be honest. We didn't make a lot of chances today, and it's their job to make the chances. And listen, they both worked hard. I'm not saying they didn't work hard. I just think that the creativity has to come from those players, and I don't think it did today. I don't think they made enough chances for us. They were isolated because we were set up not to concede, so that's fair enough. So I've given them both a 6.5. I thought he worked hard. I think Anthony Gordon maybe defensively too many times allowed the player he was up against, I think Region, to get inside and skip inside, and you got to work harder than that. You got to be a little bit better than that. But he's learning, and Damari Gray was just like no space for him today. He had a couple of moments, but it's not enough. Not enough. If you're talking about being attackers who are going to create chance or take chances, there was one run in the first half by Damari Gray where he went down. It wasn't a penalty or anything, but so give them both 6.5. And Richarlison, I've given I've given him a 6 because I simply didn't think he was in the game enough. But that's not his fault. I just don't think he was in the game enough. I think he worked hard, and we could be sitting here now talking about him as the hero of the game, wins the penalty, scores the penalty. But sadly, we're not. Is it a penalty? Well, as I said, me and the match reaction, I'm still not sure. Something looks like it touches the ball and moves it away. Question is, was that a touch by Lloris, or does Richarlison get a touch on it the other side? Clearly, Lloris's hand comes over and touches Richarlison's leg, but in the age of VAR and being able to stop it and replay, something looks like something moves the ball. The question is, was it the goalkeeper or was it Richarlison? Referee decided it was the goalkeeper. Yeah, but apart from that, Richarlison, as I said, what's annoying is if the ref had played on, if the ref had just played on and let it play out. This is what I don't understand about advantages in the box. Why not let that play on, see if he scores, and then give a pen? You've got the 5-second rule. Why don't you play the 5-second rule in the box and see what happens? That it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense that Richarlison's still got a chance to score there, and the referee blows his whistle, gives a penalty, take the penalty off us, and then gives the ball to them. I don't get that. Listen, I know what people are saying. I've watched it a million times. I've watched that video a million times, and I'm still unsure whether it's a penalty because the ball moves. And as I said, I don't know whether the ref thinks the goalie's touched it or Richarlison's touched it. And as I said, I'm not going to argue with anyone who thinks it's a pen, and I'm not going to argue with anyone who thinks it's not a pen. I don't know. If it was no VAR, it would be a pen. Of course it would. But I just don't understand a rule that means that we get punished for it twice because we had the ball. That's bizarre. I just don't get that. Play a 5-second advantage. Let the game go on for 5 seconds and see what happens. The goalie's on the floor. Richarlison might pick himself up there and smash it in. And they end up with the ball. How does that work? How do they get the advantage for it not being a pen? It just doesn't make any sense. Tom Davis, I've given a 6. Came on, thought he was positive. Had a couple of chances, not big chances, half chances on the edge of the box. Wasn't quite up to what Fabian Delph had been up to, but done enough. Fair play. And Mason Holgate was... I have watched the zoomed-in version on Twitter. I've watched it. And honestly, I still don't know. All I know is the ball rolls away from Richarlison. It rolls, and I don't know whether that roll came from Richarlison touching it, which you can't see because the camera's on the other side of the ball, or whether the goalkeeper gets something in it. I honestly don't know. But the question is, if the ref doesn't know, then he should have given the penalty. He should have given the penalty. If he doesn't know and he's already give it, then he should give the penalty, because he shouldn't be overturning an on-field decision if he doesn't know. The problem is because the camera isn't on that side. Listen, they're the margins we deal with now, aren't they? Especially, and VAR does that, sadly. But in other things, it saves you. So Mason Holgate came on. There has been questions of, couldn't you have put Ben Godfrey in centre midfield and put Mason Holgate at the back? Well, no, because as Ben Godfrey, really, why would you upset the back four that works so hard? Why would you make 2 changes for 1 sub when you could just make 1 change? Sadly, Holgate came on with the wrong attitude. No positional understanding, and just come on running around like a dope. And sending off is just silly, really. I think the more I think about it, the more he probably can just win that ball without being so heavy-footed. And he's got a red card, and There you go. He come on with the wrong mindset. He came on like on the bounce, didn't he? Came on with that just completely the wrong mindset, and I've given him a 1 because that's just stupidity. Strange, yeah. Strange that he didn't bring on Gabaman in that position. But he probably thought Mason Holgate's experience and defensive ability would mean that, he'll come on and do a job. Little does he know that our players are stupid. There you go. Yeah, we got a point. We stopped the rot. We've got a couple of weeks now till we face Manchester City. And we can just sort of chill out a bit and not think about football for a couple of weeks, which is absolutely amazing. I'll spend one of those weeks trapped in my house, sadly. But there you go. So, yeah, a point. As I said, the penalty debate will rumble on and on. It'll be interesting to see what the experts say. But what I would say is, if the ref doesn't know, then he shouldn't change. He shouldn't change they shouldn't change the on-field decision, and that might be the thing that you look at today and think that's where VAR gets it wrong. But you don't know because you don't speak to they don't speak to refs and they don't tell us. We don't have any idea of what the situation is. So, Mason Holgate would be one of the first people I'd get rid of in January if I could. He's not progressed. He's a bit brain dead. He loves being a footballer. He's just not a very good one. So, yeah, there you go. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. You agree? Do you disagree? And, yeah. Let me know what your thoughts are. Make sure to check out my instant reaction. Make sure to check out Baz's videos as well. And I'm just losing my mind, honestly. I can't remember half of the things. The final word will be on tomorrow. Be live. It will be Baz. And, yeah, it'll be live over on Patreon. If you want to watch that, become a patron. The link is in the description. It'll be on the screen as well. Thank you for watching, and I will see you later.